Coming up momentarily, Tyler Foote with Americans for Prosperity. By the way, this segment sponsored by Americans for Prosperity and their Path to Prosperity tour going through Virginia. It's going to be a lot of fun. And for more information, go to americansforprosperity.com/Virginia. And it's all right there. And you can sign up for one of the events on Eventbrite, Americans for Prosperity, presenting their AFP-Virginia Path to Prosperity tour, focused on the issues that matter to real Virginians every day. And it's the brainchild concocted by their executive director, Tyler Foote, who's doing a great job. This guy comes up with some great ideas. It's not your father's AFP, as they say. Now they're having tours through Virginia, right? How much fun can you have? Tyler, good to have you with us, man.
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me.
I want to talk about your AFP Path to Prosperity tour. I mean, it's all over the place. It's in Fairfax. It's in Fredericksburg. It's in Chesterfield. Tell our audience how they sign up, what it is, where it is.
Absolutely. So, yeah, there's 13 stops total. Starts first stop is tomorrow, and then it goes all the way through early August. So there's a pretty good chance that we're going to be in a town near you. To learn more in the full schedule, go to pathtoprosperityva.com. pathtoprosperityva.com. And not only does that outline our entire list of events, but it also goes into pretty good detail about what the Path to Prosperity tour is, and what the policies are that we're fighting for. So, John, you and I have talked about this a couple times, but Virginia used to be a national leader on a lot of different fronts. But recently, because of poor leadership and bad policies, we've fallen behind. And a couple of examples you hear, cited pretty often by politicians, such as the fact that we were once considered the best state to do business, and now we've fallen, I think, to number 7. Our GDP has flatlined, and as a result, our spending now outpaces GDP growth, and our business tax climate is ranked 30th in the country. So what we're seeing is, as a result of these bad policies, for the first time ever, more people are moving out of the state than are moving in. And these policies are also making us less competitive. Mm-hmm. If you look at North Carolina, for example, over the last 3 years, they've cut taxes $4.4 billion. Let me say that again. They've cut taxes $4.4 billion in taxes that they've cut. And now they have the fastest growing economy in the country and one of the fastest growing populations. So, over at AFP, we think if Virginia wants to see that type of growth and remain competitive, like with states like North Carolina, we have to make bold changes. A few weeks ago, we launched the Path of Prosperity in Virginia tour. It's basically a plan that starts with 3 basic principles that we think will make Virginia a national leader and create more opportunity and prosperity for all Virginians. The 3 basic principles are this. Number 1, we want Virginians to keep more of their hard-earned money. We want to break down barriers to success, and we want to allow Virginians to decide what's best for our state, not nameless, faceless bureaucrats in D.C. So how do we do these things? Real quick, John. Number 1, we have to pursue real tax reform that eliminates exemptions to the sales tax so that we can lower rates across the board. We also have to hold our government more accountable and make sure that they spend within their means. We also have to eliminate excessive regulations and licenses that prevent Virginians from pursuing a better life and getting the jobs that they want. And we also have to give parents the freedom to choose the best education for their children. And lastly, this one's important. We have to fight federal mandates that will drive up energy costs and kill thousands of jobs in Virginia, and basically keep the EPA and these nameless, faceless bureaucrats in D.C. out of our state. If we can do that, John, then I think we're going to put Virginia in a good place to become a national leader again and start to move up in these rankings that we've fallen behind the last couple of years. So, like I said, we have this tour. Kicks off tomorrow night. The first stop is in Chesterfield. Starts at 6 p.m. at King's Corner Catering, which is near the Chesterfield Airport, I believe. We have a list of great speakers that are going to come talk about the importance of the Path of Prosperity and why these policies are important to everyday Virginians like you and I. The speakers are Amanda Chase, Senator Glenn Sturdivant, Supervisor Larry Nordvig, and then Martha Bonetta, who we all know across the state as being just a tremendous activist and advocate for individual liberty and limited government. So come out tomorrow night, 6 p.m., King's Corner Catering. If you need more details about the Path to Prosperity or specifics about the event, go to pathtoprosperityva.com to get all the information that you need, including the RSVP.
Now, this is on Eventbrite. Now, you can go there and get a ticket, but the event is no charge, right?
The event is totally free, and if for whatever reason today is busy and you can't sign up, that's totally fine. You don't need to sign up to attend. It's just a good way for us to kind of keep a head count so we know how many chairs to put out and whatnot. But the room is plenty big, so if you can't RSVP, don't let that deter you.
Right.
Bring as many people as you want. Right now we have around 35, 40 people confirmed, and we have a room for about 50, 55. So we still got a couple extra slots left.
Okay, so your Path to Prosperity Tour in Virginia kicks off tomorrow, 6 p.m. in Chesterfield. And where is it?
It's at King's Corner, which is a catering company near the airport, near the Chesterfield Airport.
Okay, that sounds excellent. And sounds like you've got some great speakers: Glenn Sturdivant, Amanda Chase, Martha Bonetta, and I think you said a supervisor. Who was that?
Yeah, Supervisor Larry Nordvik.
Larry Nordvik. Okay, so you got quite the thing going on. So this is basically a 13-city tour starting tomorrow in Chesterfield, and it's going through the state of Virginia, right? So you'll be basically Southwest Virginia, South Side, Hampton Roads, Central Virginia. Obviously, you're there tomorrow. Northern Virginia.
Yeah, we're gonna hit every place. We'll be in Fredericksburg on June 30th, and then we'll be back in Fairfax on July 9th. So we'll be everywhere. Like I said, we have 13 stops. There's a good chance that we're going to be in your town. So make sure you check out our website, Path to Prosperity VA, to get the full list of tour stops. And the tour is just one component of this agenda. And the reason why we have elected officials like Senator Chase and Senator Sturtevant is because these are the ladies and gentlemen that are going to be implementing these policies. So we have to bring them on board early on to make sure that they understand the importance of these policies and why they should be implemented, but then also meet their own constituents who also want these policies implemented as well. So we're pretty excited about the speaker list that we have. Each tour stop is going to be different with elected officials from that particular region. But it's going to be an impressive tour, and that's just one component though of what we're doing. We're also in the field day in and day out, talking with people at their doorstep and on the phones about the need for tax reform and occupational licensing reform and school choice. And what we're doing is we're connecting the policies with the individual. So, what does tax reform actually mean for you? Well, bottom line, it means more money in your pocket. On average, Virginians pay $500 more in taxes than our neighbors in Tennessee. That $500 is a lot of extra money, either for groceries, for, maybe a new down payment on a house, student loan payment. I mean, that money can go a lot of different places. So tax reform means more money in your pocket. It's not just this pie in the sky policy that we want implemented for no reason. So we got to connect the policies to the individual, and the tour is going to do this, and the work that we're doing on the field, or in the field, talking to people at the doorstep and on the phones is also a critical component of that as well.
Tyler, are we looking at certain legislation that is going to go with the 3-point plan that you have, or are you going to let that evolve?
Yeah, we're going to let that evolve. I mean, our philosophy is we have, basic, what we call guiding principles, if you will, that will kind of, outline our vision for the state. But we want to work within, we want to work with the elected officials and within the existing framework to get these type of policies passed. So, we won't put out a specific tax reform package right now. But like I said, we'll work with elected officials and coalition partners on crafting what we think is a good solution for tax reform. And, for school choice, we've been advocating for school choice for years now. Unfortunately, this governor has been pretty anti-choice when it comes to education freedom. And so, but there's things like educational savings accounts and charter schools, those types of things that we've been fighting for, and you and I have been talking about for almost a year now. Those pieces of legislation will, continue to come up year in and year out. It's just a matter of, making sure that we have the right leadership in place to get those things passed. So we'll work with within the existing framework and come up with a package that we think is basically steeped in limited government principles and will help every Virginian thrive.
Now, look, I think it's going to be an exciting time in 2017. Obviously, the lame duck session for the governor. Also, we're going to go into the statewide selection process of who's going to be the various nominees. So it's going to be an exciting General Assembly. Sounds like you're going to be right in the middle of it. Now, Tyler, I only got a couple more minutes, but you made a speech in Virginia Beach last week that I got several people commented to me. You got rave reviews. You want to share some of that with our audience now?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it was stuff that we've already talked about, just kind of outlining what our path to prosperity vision is. I think the important thing, though, is, we have to start educating people on why these policies are important to them now. What I found too often is that when it comes to educating the electorate and when it comes to educating voters, if you don't start the process early, then they don't connect the dots. And it's also really easy for stuff to get lost in the shuffle. Most people aren't like you and I, John, where they're paying attention to politics and policy on a regular basis. We're kind of the odd birds in that regard. Other people have things going on like taking care of their kids, their jobs, figuring out how to pay for the various bills. And so it's important that we get in the field and educate people now on why these policies are important to them and how it'll create a better life for them. And if we can do that early, then that's going to set us up for large opportunities in the future. And again, opportunities that will help make us more competitive with states like North Carolina that have a growing and thriving economy that's probably taking jobs and businesses from our state.
Sure.
So we need to get in there now, start talking to people every day about why these policies are important, how they will create more prosperity and more opportunity for them. And I think if we can do that, then we'll have built the groundswell of support that we need to get these things implemented on day one when we have the opportunity with new leadership that is willing to take these bold reforms and move on them.
All right. I tell you what, Tyler, you're making waves, and hey, that's what it's all about. Tyler Foote, the Executive Director, Americans for Prosperity, their new Path to Prosperity tour coming up. Now, here's all you have to do. If you have a browser, it's real simple. Go to pathtoprosperityva.com. Everything is right there. They are launching their 13-city tour tomorrow at 6 p.m. in Chesterfield. Speakers are Amanda Chase, Senator Amanda Chase, Senator Glenn Sturtevant. These are state senators, obviously, Republicans. Martha Bonetta, she's worth going there just for her. Great speaker, by the way. She'll be with us as one of our media people in Cleveland, so we're looking forward to that. And those are your three main speakers. Larry Nordvik, supervisor, will also be there. Tyler will be there. It's going to be, we need a big turnout on Chesterfield to get this thing off. So if you have a couple minutes tomorrow, we'd appreciate it, because look, what Americans for Prosperity, they're nonpartisan, doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. They're interested in three things with their tour. How can Virginians keep more of the money they earn? Who's not for that? How can we break down the barriers to growth and prosperity in Virginia? And let's Virginians decide what's best for Virginians, not Washington unelected bureaucrats. Now, Tyler, I know I'm simplifying it, but that's basically what the bottom line is. And this is nonpartisan. We're not talking about supporting candidates or getting involved in campaigns. This is issue advocacy and making Virginia a better place for all of us. Tyler, have I summed things up well?
I couldn't have said it better myself, John. That was perfect.
Succinct as always. I want to thank Tyler Foote for being with us. He's happy that Cleveland won, and so are we. Time for change. Tyler, man, thanks for being with us. Hey, go to pathtoprosperityva.com, all right? Help us out.
Yes, sir.
Tyler, thanks for being with us.